Howdy y'all, got the Bulldog on the channel. You ever wonder how we move around a vehicle that has absolutely no brakes? Well, very carefully, that's how. See if I can get you propped up here, hold on. Now, what you do is you put the thing into reverse, and you're backing out, and you keep dropping it down in neutral so that you can control how fast you're going. Of course, we've got all kinds of stuff back here to worry about. Now, drop it in drive, move forward a little bit, get straightened out, kick it in neutral, and then kick it in reverse, back up. Now that I've got space behind me, I'll back on up, kick it in neutral so you don't get going too fast, kick it in drive. It does not hurt the transmission to shift back and forth like this as long as you're not stupid about it. Now, I'm rolling along in drive, you know, just letting it idle, not touching the throttle, because I'm going to need to stop soon. I'm coming around the building, moving very slowly. Now I'm going to swing and get lined up with the door, and then I'm going to kick it in neutral again. Neutral. He's got the door open already. Neutral. Neutral. Drive. Neutral. Reverse. Stop. Park. And there we go. Need to back up just a freckle. All right. Okay, we got the brakeless Chevy in here, and as you can see by the cancer on it, that it's seen some action. That's why it has no brakes. And there's a little pedal right there. Right here, where everything is all wet, you can see that pipe right there looks pretty bad. Up there in the dark, it's shot. Right here, you can see all the scale. And right there, it's, well, those aren't too bad. But the issue comes to be, it has seen some action in the ranks of the weekend warrior. Yeah, everything is rusted, everything is crusted. At this point, you don't patch on top of a patch, you replace. We've learned long ago on these trucks, don't patch anything. You replace it. You replace every line on it. It's expensive, but you patch it, and then you have to patch it, and then you have to patch it, and just next time something runs out in front of you, you slam on the brakes, you blow out another line and hit it. So you don't patch it, you replace everything, every line on it. It's expensive. Well, so is wrecking it. So let's fix it. They sell an entire brake kit. Other companies do it. We got one from the dealer because the price is comparable. And we're going to be replacing every 1/4 inch line on this truck. It's to the right front wheel, the left front wheel, to the back axle, to both sides of the master cylinder. All back to this brake modulator that they mounted underneath of it for some reason and ran every line to it. You know, they're smarter than I am. They have a reason. Sometimes the reason is that, you know, they had too much to drink the night before and they thought, it'd be funny if we did this. I don't find it funny. Let's get to work. Okay. Last night I got all the lines out that I need to get out, I think. But let me show you why you don't splice on these old lines. There's a splice there, and 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 a splice there. Every one of those has a potential to kill you. I know it sounds over dramatic, but you slam on your brakes. Whenever you slam on your brakes, because you need them. When you slam on your brakes, that's when you find these things. Even on a brand new perfect line, you slam on your brakes, and if that thing is the least little bit loose, it's going to blow the line off. Those, they'll leak. You know, see all that crusted stuff, and how is that supposed to hold? So it's not if, it's when those things fail. You can do it to get somewhere to get it fixed, at the very least. But you don't put those on lines. We stopped doing that 25 years ago. We got a good flaring kit. We just flare the lines when we make a repair. Don't be somebody that finds out that you're not supposed to do that by crashing into something. Okay? We've got a kit here for this truck. It's 194-19100. And this is a extended cab 4-door short bed, I believe. Oh man, maybe that's a long bed, but I don't think so. I don't. Until they sit next to each other, then they have 6-foot beds and 7-foot beds and 8-foot beds. I can't keep up with it all, so I don't try. You know, I just go with what the VIN number says, and then it says, well, what's the wheelbase, and I have to go measure it. Because literally, they'll have 8 different wheelbases, and that's why they have all those lines. We went ahead and ordered these before we had authorization, because we do enough of these, eventually we'll use them up. But that's also why you pay a little bit of a premium and get it from a local dealer, because you can take it back. If you get it online or something, it's kind of more difficult to return stuff. So I'm gonna get started putting all these lines back in, and hopefully I'll have it done, you know, fairly early in the day. I got to go to the chiropractor again, so let's go. Okay, I apologize that you missed the middle part of this, but I was a little bit more concerned about getting it done than getting it filmed, which, you know, a lot of YouTubers that do work have this same problem. They just, yeah. Anyway, back to it. I have all the lines put back in now. When I take them out, I don't worry about the nuts or anything like that, breaking them loose or nothing like that. I just take a cutoff wheel and just whoosh, cut them off, put a socket on it, take them out. You know, just about everywhere. Now this one came with these lines here, so I installed these lines first. There is a sequence to put them back in. That sequence is, if you do it my way, the right front line, or actually you put those little lines on first, then you put the rear line on, because it's right up against it is right up against the frame right there, top corner. Then you put in the wheel lines. This is the left front, and the right front, it's backwards of what it looks like it should be. The wheel line, the rear wheel is the one over there in the corner, top corner. The ones that go to the master cylinder are the ones that are on the bottom. Now, take note when you take it apart what the line goes where, because I have run into them before where wheel lines were switched, master lines were switched, So you just put it back like you had it. It can be kind of daunting because some of them are backwards. You know, the right side will go on the left side of the module and stupid stuff like that, but it is fairly self-explanatory. You set your new lines up and you can see where they go by how they're bent. Getting them through here is something that you're just going to have to figure out, and you have to do it several times to get better at it. I put them in with the right front, then the left front, and I don't start them over here. I pull them off to the side, put a zip tie over them so I know which one's which. Then I put in the rear line, get it started in the module, and then, well, no, wait a minute. I put in the front line and I leave it undone up here. Focus. I leave it undone. I leave it sitting out here. Get started in the module and tighten down. Then you run your other line because of the way things stack. This outer line is on the outside, it stacks on the bottom. So you need it in here so that it can be on the bottom. Then you have to put this one on top of it, but it clips over here on the other side. It's easy to do when there's no cab in the way, which is how they put it on the factory. Now, if you try to get these things back in, they never go back in 100%. And the customer, when he put on, somebody, I don't know if it's a customer, when you put on all them compression fittings, they just cut one of these to pieces. I usually only put back one anyway. Do your best. They do hold the electric in place, so they kind of need to be there. You just set them on their side and slide them up in there, and that's why having everything run correctly is important. I get all the lines in there, I get them tightened down, and then I pour fluid in the top, a whole quart. It takes an entire quart of fluid just to start. These bleeders are notorious for being rusted off to nubs. I have a special tool. Goes in my impact, my air hammer, and it's got a hex right here. I put on my 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, and in whatever socket might fit. And you put a wrench on that, and you start vibrating on it while putting a little bit of torque on it. And I have yet to need to buy calipers for one of these. I've always found a way to get them off, but they're supposed to be, well, the ones on here are 11 millimeter, 7/16. One of them I used a 9 millimeter on it. The other one I used an 8 millimeter on it. Fortunately, they came loose. They're usually not very tight. You just can't get a hold of them. I've had to use vice grips before, but they crush it down and egg shape it and lock it in the hole. So just another one of them things that just makes things insanely difficult. I'm gonna get all these connections put back on. I'll get my inner fender wells put back in, get my splash shield in the front put back in, and then by that time, hopefully it's gravity bled and we can start pressure bleeding. Okay. Well, brake lines are on. Brakes feel good. Unfortunately, the transmission's out of it. The customer mentioned offhandedly that the transmission didn't feel right. Well, we couldn't drive it because it had 0 brakes, but he authorized the brake lines anyway. Took it out for a test drive and it goes to nothing above second gear. So that's how it goes. Let's see what he wants to do. Okay, customer was contacted. He really wasn't all that surprised that the transmission is down. He's gonna come pick it up, pay for it, and when he gets ready, he'll call us about putting a tranny in it. I don't like them when they work out like that, but it is what it is. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.